Now, another thing too I want to show you before we get too wound up here is as far as plugging additional information, whether it's your own on your blog or from somewhere else. And ideally, more times than not, it will come across as better quality content if it is not referring to your own blog or to your own site. That would qualify as promotion, which again is not a bad thing. It's just that if you are found to be overly promoting yourself, then that can be deemed as a bad thing. So you will gain more followers, more long term marketing juice, if you will, if you provide quality content, and quality content is better defined as being somebody else's information, not so much yours. So share the love, pass it around. Anywho, let's go to Google, and I typed in gardening, came up with this, and what we can do here is just go to blogs, and let's just see what we got going on the blog osphere in relation to gardening. Again, that being our niche. And let's see here. Okay, now of course they know that I'm in the Kansas City area, so that's why these are location sensitive. Gardening gives older adults benefits like hand strength and good for the arthritis. Birds and such, indoor gardening. Okay, let's keep this as recent as possible. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, this will be a good example because, I mean, it's a good article. Okay, so this looks like good quality information. Now, sometimes there is a where you can share the article on a social network, and they will have a Twitter button down here, in which case you just click on that, bing bang boom, good to go. It will automatically input a short URL or a shortened URL. In this case, well, there isn't, so no biggie, we will just make our own. Let me see, I'm just looking through here, and of course I might be missing it, and you could be pointing right at the computer screen saying, no, right there it is, silly. But anyway, what we're going to do is we will go up here, and I'm going to right click and copy, and then I'm going to open up a new tab, go to tinyurl, and like I said, there's a lot of other ones out there, and some of which are even better because you can track the number of clicks, where the clicks came from. I'm going to cover that in another video coming up. Right click, paste, click on make tinyurl. And for those of you that are not aware of tinyurl, this is what the link was. This is what the link now is. You click on this and it will take you to that same place that this link was. Now you can also, right down here, if it's available, and I'm going to see if it is, just type in gardening info. There we are. See if that is available. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now then, this even makes it more defined. There you go. Right click, copy, and then come on back here. Now, then this is going to be a general tweet. It's not going to be to any one person in response to anything, just information. Right click, paste. Now then, come on back here. Gardening gives older adults benefits. Copy, come back here. In front of that URL, right click. I'm sorry, Control V is in Victor for pasting. Here's that for a little bit of a headline. Gardening gives older adults benefits. And then this is the URL to that, and we've got 70 characters left, so if somebody were to retweet this, they'd have plenty of room to do so. Now watch this. You see how that's a tiny URL? Sometimes it will change it, especially with the Power Twitter. Link to 403 forbidden. Okay. I don't know if that's such a good thing. Let me just click on that and see. No, that's cool. Okay. That was a bad example, obviously, because it should have said something like whatever this infozine is what it should have said. Infozine, something about infozine gardening gives older adults benefits like stronger hands or something. So that was a bad example. But anyway, you get the idea. Create a tiny URL, and this tells you right up here in kind of a light grayed out print the last tweet that you provided. And this shows who provided it here, that being us. And another thing too I wanted to mention, and I just used this as well because I didn't want to put my image in there for the sake of the video, but people will follow people more likely than people will follow inanimate objects. So if in your choice of adding a profile image, I would say that I would lean closer towards putting your own personal image in there, or a child's image, a person image, rather than an image of a pepper or your dog. Unless the pepper itself has that page or your dog has his own Twitter page, and I'm going to cover that in an upcoming video as well, people will be more apt to follow people. So just keep that thought in mind. Just want to throw that out there too. That's pretty much it as far as creating, replying to, and reading tweets. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to my more formal self, and we're going to cover some Twitter etiquette, otherwise known as twetiquette. And here are some of my thoughts on Twitter etiquette, or twetiquette as they might call it. Watch your ratio. This is important. If you're following 2,000, followers or people, tweeple as they also call them, and have only 2 followers, well, you're going to be looked at as a spammer, probably because you are a spammer. Now crawl back under your rock and leave Twitter forever. So keep that in mind. Another one is content is king on Twitter as well. Try and have at least a bit of value in your tweets. Now, if you are constantly tweeting, 1 or 2 word tweets like, oh really, or right on. Really, does anybody even still say right on? And, oh yeah, me too. Well, it might be better to have a direct message with that individual rather than just taking up precious tweet space. Another one to keep your eyes open for is space out your tweets. Try to avoid posting 20 tweets in a row. I mean, this is going to send mobile devices into a tizzy, and the SMS charges through the roof. So try to keep that to a minimum. And of course, the all-important, if drunk, don't tweet. A few choice mistaken tweets and you'll be surprised just who actually reads your tweets. Your boss, your wife, well, soon to be ex-wife number 2, your girlfriend, your ex-wife. Now, to be fair and to give equal time, could also be your boyfriend, your husband, your husband's girlfriend, your boss. You get the idea. If you're inebriated, stay away from the computer. It's just safer that way. Size does matter. Try to stay within the 140 character limit for your tweets. Having to post, several times to complete your tweet makes it tough for your followers. I mean, they have to scroll through several pages just to read your entire tweet. And if they've got a whole lot of followers, and they've got a whole lot of other tweets on those pages, so it could take them a long time to finish your entire tweet. And by the time they get to the end, they don't remember now what the beginning of it was. So again, try to think of your followers. If you have that much to say, make a blog post and post a tweet referencing your blog post. Hey, besides that, it'll draw traffic to your blog. Another one, do not over promote. Now, of course, you've probably heard me say this on every single video in this series, and you're probably tired of me saying it, but if I didn't think it was important, I wouldn't have said it at all. I realize this video series is on using Twitter for marketing needs, and I keep harping on the same item over and over again. Well, there is that thing about a little is okay, but a lot is not. Instead of a constant buy my soap tweet, how about this for an idea? Post on your blog the virtues of your new line of soap, and then tweet a question like, oh, do you use bar or liquid soap? And include the URL to your blog post. Just an idea. Using automated message services. Now, some tweeple are totally against the use of these types of services and will unfollow you in an instant. Now, it's not so much the service, in my opinion, as it is the message. If you have a message like, thanks for following me, check out my blog. Or, my favorite, thanks for following me, I sell herbal remedies. Here's my web address. Well, you'll most likely lose followers left and right. Your auto message should be more about, I'd say, your follower, not you. If your niche, for example, and Twitter page is about gardening, such as ours, then a message like, hey, thanks for the follow. Do you use container for gardening? Or I prefer raised beds myself. Something like that will be much better received. And again, it's more of a conversation starter as well. You'd be surprised what kind of response you get. Now, since I have a rather thick skin and I'm not easily offended, there are probably a whole lot more Twitter etiquette tips that I've left out, unintentionally, of course. The main thing to keep in mind here is that if you are offended by someone's twactions, you have the power to unfollow them. So click it and forget it. Move on and have a nice day. This will bring us to the end of this video. Thank you much for watching.